back to the GSL up and down matches. We have had some pretty exciting ones so far, some very fast-paced matches, a lot of all-ins. Next up, we have Hack against Tree. Hack currently 0-2 in the group. Here are our current scores. Zenio currently leading the group 2-0. Firstly, holding an all-in, and then secondly, doing a Baneling bust of his own.
What do you think about the next game? We have once again Tree, who showed us 2 all-ins thus far. One of them was on Ahana against Hack's teammate, and he took it. So, if you're Tree, what do? Do you go for a macro game? Do you try to play another all-in?
You know,
I mean, it's hard to say. We don't know a lot about him, but do you have some insights?
I think he's gonna all in again. I don't have any insight other than people have been telling me he's good, he's got potential, he's awesome, okay, but I have not seen anything, you know, of it.
I might be mistaken, but as far as I know, Tree was actually the player who won in he won in Code A qualifier, and I think the player that he met in the final was Death Angel. I'm not 100% sure about it, but as far as I know, Death Angel beat Sage in the semis, and then he was up against Tree.
You can see, by the way, how basically you can see the advancement rates by record. So this is just a lot of extra stats for you guys. I'm not going to go into reading all those exactly, but you guys can look through that. It's kind of some interesting information. You're right, though. I think Tree did beat Death Angel. And that was his second to last match before. Death Angel made it to the second. He didn't make it to the finals. He made it to the round before the finals, right?
He made it to the finals. Okay. He defeated Sage before that. And the Code A qualifier is, by the way, coming up this weekend. And we've been talking to GOM for quite a while because in the past we did not have too many live streams. And yesterday I actually got the permission, the official permission to stream. So if you're interested in probably the most clutch qualifier, the hardest qualifier ever in StarCraft 2 history, then the finals are taking the qualifiers are taking place on Sunday and Monday.
Yep.
And there will be
bringing some
a live stream. The link to the live stream, if you already follow us on Twitter, you will read about the tweets. If not, you can check us out at Caldon, at Proxywolf. We'll tweet the link to the live stream. It's going to be available probably just without the GOM player this time. We'll see.
During the event as well, we will likely be tweeting about results that happen even if they don't happen on stream. So just consider that.
Interviews with a few players as well. Obviously trying to maybe co-cast at some point with players like Seller.
Yep.
We'll see, maybe even TLO, Jinro. It's going to be good. It's going to be great.
Well, here we go into Tree against Hack at the GSL up and down matches. Hack in a tough spot right now.
Yeah, he's indeed in a tough spot. He is down 2 games. He's the only player in today's group so far who has lost both his games. Everyone else did a little bit better than he did. To the top right now, we have our StarTale player.
StarTale Hack.
Yep, indeed. Hack here currently with O2, and he is facing to the bottom left the FXO player who showed us 2 all-ins. And we will see if he's going for a similar strategy in this Terran versus Terran, or if he's stepping it up and shows us his macro skills.
FXO Tree.
Tree was on the team MVP before joining FX Open. I remember watching his play at the qualifiers when it was like my last qualifier I went to on the team FXO. I watched his play. I was like, who is this Tree guy? It was a time where MVP had a massive roster. The team house was so packed. I think they had 25 players on their quote-unquote roster. You know, a lot of B-teamers there as well. Tree was one of them. And in the end, he did eventually decide to leave MVP. But his play back then seemed pretty good. He today has not shown us anything but all-ins. So it's hard to say what he's going to do next.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what his plan of choice is. He started with the gas once again. Oh, sorry, that's actually... Oh, no, Hack is getting the gas right now, too. But Tree started with an earlier gas. And, well, we'll see if he's going for the Banshee play once more. That's something that he really tried to use in the last game, and he followed it up with the Hellion, Marine, and SCD attack. Went all in here. And on this map, on Cloud Kingdom, we've seen so many players go for Banshee builds. This is really what we can expect out of Tree again.
Yeah, this is a good map for Banshees. Much better, in fact, than the last map. The last map, there's no real room to fly with the Banshees. On this map, there's a lack of room on behind the natural, really, but in the main base, there's so much space to kind of work with back there. You can escape rather easily. Not as well as on certain maps, like, for example, Shakuras, but... Reactor going down for Hack.
For a second, I was thinking that he sent out a second SCV, and I was well, could have. Occasionally, very rarely, we see a proxied starport to get the Banshees out in the main base faster. So he's just going in to get the Scout. The second unit that was leaving the base was the Marine who took the Zalnaga Watchtower. The expansion for Hack is now building, so he's transitioning into the expansion. Reactor is on its way as well, while Tree is not only getting the factory, but also with the reactor play and an expansion. So this time we will have more of a macro game. There is no immediate Banshee play in sight. We don't have the second gas for neither one of these players, so this is going to be definitely a longer macro game.
Yeah, for sure. Tree is going Reactor Hellions at the start here, which is a build that I'm not always sure how I like. I like its transition to the mech play, if you can keep the Hellions alive. As far as pressure goes, sometimes it works out really well. We saw that actually work out in a game yesterday where a player just darted his Hellions and there was no bunker, killed a ton of Marines. But sometimes it can go really poorly. If your opponent prepares well, you really spend a lot of resources on the Hellions you can't use right away. And Tree is obviously not going all in. He does have a command center on the way. His command center is going to be on the low ground, so even though Hack has made his slightly earlier, he's going to have it out faster. As far as tech goes, Tree is slightly ahead, but not ahead enough to where it's really going to matter too much.
Hack wants to go for Banshee play. He took the second gas. He's currently building a starport. He's a little bit slower than Tree is with his tech buildings, but at this point he's already preparing for the tech lab. And well, we might either see the Banshees or he's going straight for a Raven, but delayed Banshee builds is something that we see a lot more often in the recent past. Here's the Viking for Tree though, immediately dropping the Viking, and let's see what Hack's going to do. He has definitely enough gas so that he can start with the Banshee build, but he might just, he might just not do it. He's going for the
Viking first just to be safe.
Both of them.
And with the Hellions on the low ground for Tree, he's actually going to continue to deny this command center for a while, and that's going to make him feel pretty good since his command center is already mining. He may think he's even taking a huge lead. His opponent may be doing something with one base. He has not, as far as I know, he has no information about what his opponent is doing. So from here, he's probably going to be feeling really comfortable. He's making an engineering bay now because he knows his opponent is one basing quite heavily. I think we may see Tree transition into mech play from here. He does have Marines still reactoring out right now, but that's very easy to transition out of. We're about to find out, because if he does continue to use this engineering bay for more than just turrets, it's going to be obvious that he's going to add additional barracks, but right now he's not done that.
Tree has a bit of an advantage when it comes down to his economy because he has his command center already on the low ground and a few additional harvesters as well. So Tree doing a decent job here. And we have... okay, so sorry.
It's a medevac coming out here. He's going to do a drop, it looks like, with some Marines and Hellions. Potentially could use a tank as well, but I don't think that's what we're going to see. He may even, in fact, just siege up the edge, use the medevac for visions, and just continue to elevate her in from there. Oh, this Hellion is going to walk. Oh, my bad. I thought that was enemy Hellion. I was like, that Hellion is going to walk into a trap, but actually it was just his friends. His friends weren't going to betray him.
We saw a pretty epic TVT yesterday, and well, at this point we have Hack with a little bit of a faster siege tank tech, moving out already, while a Tree on the other hand, well, he has the Viking, doesn't he? He's currently at 2. No, they are kind of dead even at this point. Both of them with 2 Vikings. Will depend on a bit of micro who's going to take the air battle.
Hack's going to go for a pretty big push here. He has siege mode faster, but by the time he gets to Tree's base, he will have siege mode as well. If Tree is caught out of position here, though, and Hack gets into a defensive position at his natural with siege mode, he is going to really regret it. He's not going to turn around. Once he sees his push moving across with the Watchtower, he's going to feel great. Oh, the SCV, though, will come to scout for this, and he sees it. Will Tree turn around? It's kind of too late. He's doing a huge drop in the main base, though.
He's dropping in the main base with the Hellions, and he's clustering up his SCVs. Whoa, about the siege tank. He takes down a huge chunk. Lost 11 SCVs there, and here comes the attack.
Here we go. He has turned around, in fact, with his main army after he did that much damage. But
SCVs too.
In total, it looks like it's going to be a fairly even trade here with Tree coming out a little bit on top.
Especially with all these harvesters that he just killed, he's looking pretty strong around. He has 12 workers killed on the other hand. Huck with this push was able to take down 8 over the course of the game, but Tree is immediately starting to expand again, getting a 3rd right now. And Huck is definitely a bit pressed here. He's pressured by Tree, so in total, a better trade for Tree.
Yeah, Tree now getting +1 and adding additional barracks, so it turns out he will not be going mech play here. adding another reactor, and with that third command center, he's making a statement saying, yeah, I know I actually got the better end of the trade there. I feel very comfortable to even continue to put pressure on you with my army. He is slightly ahead in army supply, not too much so, but he's got the better composition. He just has a more flexible unit composition that he can use to continue to drop, continue to poke, and retreat if need be.
Siege tank tech is dead even, 3-3. We have the additional medivac for Tree though, and worker count is also pretty close, but still, this third command center will help Tree a lot. So far, Hack did not get another base, and as soon as the orbital is into play, he will have a huge lead over his opponent, will have a lot more energy to use scans and mules, and also the ability to build 3 SCVs at a time will put him ahead. So definitely a problem here for Hack. He starts to get an orbital, but he is a lot slower than his opponent.
Yeah, leagues and leagues behind in that regard. He does have a faster stim, which is something he may be able to use. With getting your stim faster than your opponent, usually it doesn't matter, but in some circumstances, with the drop, for example, with a big push, it can actually be the deciding factor. So that's something I just always have to mention, but it's not necessarily going to be a deciding factor.
We just had a great scan by Tree. He saw everything. He saw the sieged up position for his opponent. He had a quick glimpse at the his opponent's expansion too. And now with all these sensor towers and even missile turrets sent in one position by Tree, he's really set up very well to defend against drop play. So if there's a drop to the left side, the missile turrets will pick off the medivac, and at the right he has the sensor tower in position. So very nice, very well set up, and I have to say that Tree is looking good here.
He is, absolutely. Hack, he's got a big push coming through here, but like you said, he's just set up so well, and he has so much vision. He has the sensor tower. There's no way he's going to get caught off guard. If the units come, look at this sensor tower position as well. It's a risky sensor tower to make because there's no units around there, but it's going to bait his opponent into basically going to kill it or moving into its vision. He knows exactly where his opponent is at all times, and that's something that's really, really going to help him. Hack is desperately trying to find a position to attack. He scans, he sees, oh, no tanks are here, I'm going to go over here, but with the sensor tower, Tree's like, well, I see that you found my weakness, I'm just going to readjust myself.
I don't really like the one to the top left. That's basically throwing money away. There's one Marine, and the Marine will kill it in a few seconds, so I don't really see the benefit.
I like it for kind of like a temporary thing. Makes sure that he doesn't get dropped while his force is going on.
The sensor tower was active for like 10 seconds, and at the same time we have already 2 missile turrets at the natural, so if there's a drop play, the missile turrets will probably pick off the medivac. There's actually 3 of them. He's building another sensor tower at the natural.
Yeah, this one is definitely much better.
Yeah, this makes just much more sense. Okay, so it's a little bit out of the ordinary. I would like to hear his reasoning.
Yeah, I'm okay with it, but I agree. It was, like I said at the beginning, like it was kind of a risk to make that sensor tower. A huge Viking force moving forward here, leading the charge as Tree moves out. Now his opponent, Hack, is kind of avoiding the watchtower. He's going to be seen, but in this position, if Tree had moved out, he would have been in trouble, but he's not moving out now. He's actually just going to be in great shape to defend this. A very early stim. He's going to have to stim again if he wants to engage, and he decides not to, at least initially. He may lift up and go into the main base, but with this many Vikings here, I just don't think he can.
He has a few Marines over at the natural, though, and whoa! Tree is not even reacting. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything, he doesn't get it, and he loses so many harvesters. He's occupied at the bottom right, and he does not see the drop play. He probably didn't see it on the minimap and didn't really listen to what the in-game boys said. He lost 32 harvesters in total right now. Yeah. Earlier lost 8, so
this
24
is really going to
killed.
help even things up from before with the faster third base.
That gives Hack actually quite the lead here in economy.
Yeah. He's going to catch up really, really fast there.
The harvester count is now 66 to 46.
Tree is going for a very identical push, though, and in fact, he may even kill an orbital with this one, Caldor.
You're right.
Much better. He's going to target it down with repair, though, here. I don't think he'll get it. He needs to go for SCVs now, actually. He's going to get trapped. This is very bad for Tree.
Oh, but the siege tank siege up, and he's moving now a little bit farther to the back, but runs right into the siege tank range. Yeah. Drop attempt in the main base now in order to make this one still count, and there are no Marines in position. A few of them running in, stimming in.
His units are so low hit points, he can't actually fight here. He gets taken away, and he may even lose his medevac. Barely gets it out in time. Meanwhile, at the base over here at the third, for Tree, there's a siege up going down. He's actually got a great position on this base.
Tree is losing ground here. He's now losing ground. Those Marines that Hack sent over to the natural expansion of his opponent sure did a number on the FXO player. And he's struggling now to get back into the game to stabilize. And here comes Hack trying to commit, but wow, losing a huge chunk of units. Not sure if that was the best trade that he could go for. He's still ahead in supply though. He still has a 30, well, 25 to 30 supply lead.
A lot of that is in workers, 66 to 49, but even so, I feel like he also has the better position. Tree now has to be on the defensive a lot. It's very difficult for him to engage in here. This is not going to be cost efficient for him to run in an attack. He will take everything out, but he lost a lot in the process. And meanwhile, Hack is coming in with a second wave. He was hoping he could catch his opponent on siege. He does not, but he will scan and run into the natural now. This forces Tree out of position again, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to fix it this time. He's being attacked from both sides. He's on siege at both locations.
Oh, this is
great
actually
maneuvering by
bad.
Hack.
Hack is going to get into position at the natural. He's once again moving in, taking down the sensor tower immediately. The missile turret ties as well. A small force of Marines heading to the third, but the siege tank able to take them down. The Vikings trying to kill the
good position for Tree to try to attack these with his SCVs. I'm not sure why he decided to do that. He lost so many.
Way more now. 50 lost in total.
His SCV count
16
of his opponents.
His economy is crippled here.
It's in shambles. Exactly, man. Now from here, Hack takes another command center. He actually moved back, saved the majority of his siege tanks to supply an army 89 to 69 because the engagement was so beautiful for Hack with how he maneuvered his units around, how he avoided things. I really, really appreciate how he came in from two different angles. He scanned ahead repeatedly, and if he had such a small group of units where Tree was hesitant, he had to unsiege his third to go into Finn's natural, but when he did that, there were Marines coming in there as well. It was a very awkward and tense moment for him where he had the tools to defend, but he was just, he couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it.
Right now, Hack is in a 50 supply lead. He definitely dictates how this game is going to turn out. He's trying to get into
He's just going to continue to trade here.
He needs to be careful that he does not overcommit, though. He has a huge lead in the game, but being too confident about it might just put him back into a bad spot.
I love his scans. See, now he knows that these tanks are unsieged here. He's got the better Marine count. He's got the more mobile army, and he's actually just going to go in. He will not be able to engage this fully. Actually, he's going to try. This is a really bad engagement for him, but even so, he's still up, and he takes out so many units regardless.
And he puts pressure onto the third, and now look how just the siege tanks, they are really gonna die here. Suddenly, Tree only has one Viking left, and this is also a problem. The command center just being repaired by these SCVs.
Tree going for a huge run by at the third. Meanwhile, he was going to get a lot of SCVs as there's units out of position. He hesitates a little bit though, and this gives Hack just enough time actually to come back and defend.
And Hack is now, wow, picking off the Medivac as well. This was brutal. Tree is just falling behind so much. He also lost his advantage in regards to the Viking count. He's on 1-1 Vikings now. At par with his opponent in numbers, and this is definitely a problem for him because earlier on he at least had the dominance in the air and was able to force scans out of his opponent. This is not the case right now.
I love that Hack keeps doing this with his units. He's splitting them up, attacking from two locations. He knows he has the numbers to do so. Every time he feels like he's going to lose the engagement, he pulls back. Now he's got a great siege up position at his opponent's natural. He can defend these tanks really, really well, and he's just going to continue to trade with a better economy. Now he's running back to the third base again, and this time it will fall indefinitely.
Yeah.
GG. Hack goes 1-2, putting Tree at the same score as him.
Indeed he does. So at first, Tree with a very nice opening here, but then Hack is just being the better multitasking player, able to attack to the left, to the right, forcing Tree to defend, and the FXO player has a problem focusing on his natural and the third at the same time. It was really hard on him, especially the first run by, did quite a lot of damage. It was something that he probably did not account for. So now, as Will pointed out, we have Hack and Tree on 1-2, both of them. And our next game, well, it's going to be Protoss versus Terran. We have MC once more. He's up against Virus.
MC against Virus should be a really good one to watch.
Both of them are 1-1.
Virus can be quite the Protoss killer, man. Not always, but he has shown really nice all-in builds in the past. I mean, we saw him take out Huck in several different tournaments, of course, and I don't think we're going to see a build like we saw with Hack and Seed, but we could. I mean, they're on the same team. They may have prepared that build together for Seed here. I'm not sure. I think when you're practicing for a group like this, you may work a few hours on something like this, but every player has their own style, and since they're more worried about TVT and they're playing against each other as well, that's a question I would like to ask someone like these two players, these two Terrans, saying, how do you practice for a group like this? You have your teammate as one of your opponents, but he's only one opponent, and do you guys want to prepare TVT because you have to play TVT against each other, but it's a Terran-heavy group? Do you guys practice together, discuss strategies for playing against Protoss like Seed? How do you prepare for a group like this? That's something that it's kind of not awkward, but it's not easy to approach.
It's easier if you're just preparing against a teammate in one match. Then you can just say, okay, we just don't talk about the matches and train individually. But if you are actually facing another Terran player in the same group, you are definitely right. This creates a bit of a problem.
There are a lot of other Terrans on StarTale they can train with, but I mean, it's definitely these are two of the best. So they would want to practice with each other. I'm sure they've at least sat down at lunch and been like, all right, well, don't tell me what you're going to do against me, but what do you have planned for Tree? Are you going to mech against him? Tell me about your mech play.
It's about the maps as well that comes into play. Yep. Right now we have MC against Virus coming up on Atlantis Spaceship. That's going to be our next match. So we have a Terran versus Protoss coming up. MC not in the lobby just yet. I'm pretty sure that he's going to join very, very soon. But yeah, if you are in the same team, what they can obviously do is just prepare for the other players together. Kind of talk about what exactly they're going to do against MC, what their strategies are in a Terran versus Protoss, in the Terran versus Zerg. So they can help each other also out with just doing research, watching VODs, watching replays, preparing for a certain player and just trying, okay, well, I saw him do this and this, he might do the same thing again. You might try to keep track of what exactly he does. Just some stuff, like he did this at MLG, he did this 2 weeks ago.
Right. Of course. This map, by the way, that we're about to see this TVP on is massive.
Yeah.
We have seen long games on this map. There are bases in the center with 3 geysers. That's something that actually, ironically, though, hardly ever comes into play. There's 3 geysers, one of them is a rich geyser, so there's a lot of gas at those bases, but by the time you can take a base like that, which is difficult to hold, you have so much gas anyways, it's just very rarely gets used. Yeah.
You have 3 bases, so you have 6 gas. As soon as you get this base, as soon as you get any other base, you will have 8 gas, and if you have 8 gas or 9 gas, that doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah, it doesn't. So it's kind of an interesting concept that we have on this map. I'm not sure if it will ever become normal to use those bases. There have been some strategies where people have tried to fast expand there, but it usually doesn't work.
I'm pretty sure that this map is not gonna be in the map pool for long. Maybe another season, but I would bet money on it. That's about it.
Yeah,
it's not the best
in the
map.
GSTL, but I really dislike it. I don't like this map.
It's not like this map is horrible. I just think that other maps that we have in the map pool are better. That's basically what it is. It's not like it's necessarily bad.
I compare this map to Crevasse, for example, and
yeah, kind of
Calm Before the Storm. It's kind of big. It's hard to pressure your opponent.
Oh, Calm Before the Storm was worse.
Well, of course, but that's why it's gone.
Yeah. Well, we have them both on screen. MC again is up against the Virus. Both of them 1-1 in the group. We're heading into the game. GSL up and downs with Paolo and Wolf. This is Group D.